Cynthia is one of the strongest Pokemon trainers of all time, and that had me thinking just what would happen if she went through Paldea. So today's video, we're gonna be playing Pokemon Violet as Cynthia with a couple of rules to make the challenge even harder. Can we conquer this region and defeat the champion of champions, Geeta? Stay tuned. So we start the journey off, and I feel a little different, but I can't quite point my finger on what's changed about me. Hello, do you perhaps have some ice cream? Huh? Who are you? Where's my daughter?
Hello, do you perhaps have some ice cream?
This is getting weird, bro.
After getting my ice cream, a man breaks into my house. The Rizzler has arrived. Obviously, he seems like a professor, and professors give starters. I didn't bring my Gibble with me, so I'm gonna need him to give me one instead. Yo, you got a Gibble? Sorry, what? Listen, kid, I'm here for your mom. Where's my Gibble? Okay, chill out, Jesus Christ. I may not have a Gibble, but I have one of these 3 Pokemon that you can choose from. Pick your poison because these rare beauties are easily gonna dominate this region. I will give you 30 seconds to get me my Gibble. What? Okay, fine. Hold on. I have heard that additionally to La Primera, there's also another champion I should be having my eye out for. And it looks like they may also be near here as well. I could have sworn my Gibble was right here. Okay, I got your Gibble, Cynthia. Good. Wait, Cynthia like the champion? No. Oh, well, anyways, wanna battle? Okay. After beating Nemona, I find out about a school which can potentially help my goal to face off against La Primera. So after enrolling and getting a funny time skip, it's time to finally begin my takeover. I do manage to find a middle claw TM while exploring, and this will be very helpful for us as it will cover our giant fairy weakness that Gibble has. It's now time to face off against the first gym leader, Katie. Just kidding, I have to push this Olive like an idiot. And now we finally face off against Katie. Just kidding again, as she beats me up like 3 times. Yes, I am the same champion, you know. I swear I'm not a fraud making a video with limited resources. I guess it's probably time to get another team member since it doesn't look like Gibble's gonna be able to do this by himself. So after a lot of hunting, I find it, an Eevee. Cynthia does actually have a Glaceon in Pokemon Black 2 and White 2, so you can probably see where I'm going with this. After traversing the freezing cold biomes, I'm able to find it at Ice Stone, and even at Never Melt Ice while I'm there. I then evolve Eevee into Glaceon, and with my newfound Frost Devil Cat, we easily freeze Katie's bugs. The Glaceon sweeps don't end there, however, as when we make it to the first Titan battle against Klawf, I easily shut it down. This mod is carrying our early game like crazy right now. Sorry, Gibble, but it seems like Glaceon is our new ace. Hey, boy, huh? You cook a lot. Can you make me some ice cream? Haven't you already done this gag? Okay. It is time to fight Brassius, and yes, as you probably expected, it's another Glaceon stomp. Like seriously, this mod's crazy, but I swear this challenge won't be easy. In fact, it will be the exact opposite, but Glaceon is just really damn good at this point of the game. Going into this battle, however, I was a little scared of Sudowoodo, but being Terra Normal eliminated any real fear that I had of it. After freezing a Big Bird, it's time to finally get some more team members, as our next major battle is against Team Star member Giacomo. This fight did give me a lot of trouble in my Ash Challenge video, and this time I want to attempt it a little bit more prepared. So I go ahead and catch another Pokemon that Cynthia's notorious for, Riolu. Well, technically she's known for Lucario, but I think you get the point. This time, however, I will not evolve it just yet, as I don't want to make this battle too easy. I did also find another Pokemon that Cynthia uses, which is Rufflet while I'm there though. Anyways, let's go ahead and fight Giacomo. Okay, and never mind, I guess I really shouldn't have been generous. I guess I'll just scrub my Riolu really hard, and there we go. Wow, now that I look at it right now, our team is really blue. Time to fight Giacomo for real this time, and after setting up a couple times with workup and taking out Pawnyard, his Starmobile comes out. I am able to land 2 huge Aura Spheres before going down, however, and then Glaceon is also able to take it out. Yeah, not so tough now, are ya, boy? Iono claims that she has more subs than me, and honestly, that's probably true, and I can't let that slide. So be sure to like and subscribe so I could show her who a real YouTuber is. What? Wow, did I really put that in the script? Wow, did I just read that? What the hell? But before I can put my self-insert in the dirt, it seems I need to put Nemona in the dirt first. All right, there we go. Now it's time to fight Iono. She leads off with Wattrel, who easily gets frosted by Glaceon. She then gets in her belly bolt, so I hard switch into Gibble onto its Spark, and after some water gun and bulldoze trades, we manage to take it down. Luxio comes out and then takes down Gibble. Now, if you know me, you know I am the greediest man alive, so I decide to use this opportunity to set up with Lucario. Lucario. However, this plan heavily backfires as we get paralyzed because of this. We do end up taking out Luxio with an Aura Sphere into a Vacuum Wave. We're on red HP and we're paralyzed, so this plan is definitely not going too well. It's time to fight Hermitera Miss Magius. I am able to get a Vacuum Wave off, but I basically do no damage and then I go down to a Hex. It's now up to Glaceon and Rufflet. Glaceon gets off heavy damage and drops its speed with enough Icy Wind, which will allow Rufflet to clean up the battle. I gotta say, for a YouTuber, honestly, I was gonna have some like snarky remark or something, but I kind of just want to leave now. So we finally meet Geeta. I hope you can finally scratch that itch of an amazing battle that I've been looking for. Wait, now that I think about it, I literally saw you earlier. Oops, this joke just fell flat. Geeta then asks if I seek to become champion. Boy, do I have something to tell you. It's time for Gibble to finally evolve. Maybe now you can become the team's ace again. Never mind. Even with Gabite, Mela's Star Mobile is just way too strong against her massively fire weak team. There is, however, another Pokemon that Cynthia has, and it just might be enough to help mitigate this issue. That mon is Shellos. So after catching one, it's time to give this Mela fight another shot. I lead with Shellos, which is able to stall out Torkoal's Drought and eventually take it out. Her Starmobile comes out and Shellos lands massive damage on it, and we're also able to wrap up the battle with Gabite. Thank goodness Cynthia had this mon, or else we probably would have been screwed. I then try to fight Kofu, but this fight is actually surprisingly difficult, as his Crabominable basically treats my entire team like a punching dummy. Luckily though, our level cap barely allows us to evolve Shellos, and Gastrodon is actually huge for this fight. Kofu leads off with Veluza, who we do manage to take out with Gabite, but not without losing a lot of HP in the process. Wugtrio comes in next, which does manage to take Gabite out, but Lucario is able to come in and knock it out soon after. Now it's time to fight the mon that's been giving me trouble, Terra Crabominable. This thing literally one-shots my whole team, and he decides to prove this point correctly by knocking out Lucario in one Rock Smash. But now it's time to see why I had to get a Gastrodon, as with just it alone, I'm actually able to take the Crabominable down. Let's ignore the fact that I dodged mad slams. This was pure skill. Now, sadly, my footage corrupted for the upcoming Atticus, Larry, and Nemona battle, but all you need to know is Gabite and Lucario ate those nerds like it was a 3-course meal. Not 4-course though, sadly, but you know, good enough. Rhyme is our next battle, and as you already may know, it is a double battle. So I lead off with Lucario and Gastrodon on her Mimikyu and Banette. Lucario is able to break Mimikyu's disguise, while Gastrodon lands a solid chip on her Banette. And next turn, I'm able to take out Mimikyu by recycling the exact same play. Houndstone comes out and Banette takes down Gastrodon, but Lucario is able to land a Metal Claw that can take it out. Houndstone does Phantom Force, which means whatever Rhyme sends out next is pretty much food to the wolves. Her Terra Toxtricity is what comes out next, but sadly for her, it's really not strong enough to tank a juiced up Metal Claw Freeze Dry combo. We then win the battle by just focusing out Houndstone. Before we face off our next challenge, however, I think it's time that we finally get our last team member. So while surfing around, I find it, Dynamo. I then evolve it to its final form, and now it's time to face off against Tulip. However, Nemona has other plans, as she's upset I had to cut out her battle earlier. I don't know if this is better for her though, as I instead embarrass her even more by absolutely destroying her team to a point I don't even need to narrate it. It's okay, because I'm used to people constantly trying to fight me when they aren't prepared. Anyways though, look at this Medicham. It gets the +6 evasion with acupressures. It does all of these shenanigans that honestly could probably sweep me, but somehow ends up dying to itself because it missed a high jump kick. What a silly little goofball. It's now time to fight Tulip, and I'd be lying if I said this battle was gonna be easy, as in the first attempt, we get absolutely destroyed by her Florges. This mon has a crazy high special defense stat, not to mention that it's also paired with a solid special attack. So with its move pool, honestly, it's able to shred through her team like nothing. I would need a very solid strategy in order to take it out instead of just brute forcing it. So after losing a couple more times and gaining XP from those attempts, I managed to figure out a strategy. The battle starts, and I lead with Electros against her Farajiraf. Did I pronounce that correctly first try? Look at me go. It does manage to get a Reflect up, but we are able to take it out. Barely. Next in is Gardevoir, who does manage to knock us out, so I get in Lucario, but with Reflect, Gardevoir actually manages to tank the Metal Claw with ease. It's fine though, as Reflect wears off, so after tanking the Psychic, we do knock it out. Espathra comes out next and takes down Lucario, but with an Icy Wind Shadow Ball combo, Glaceon turns it to dust. Now, the strategy is simple. I need to wear down Florges' speed just enough to be fast enough to land hits with Rufflet and Glaceon, because for some reason, a massive flower is faster than both of them. Pokemon, am I right? I sacrifice Gastrodon to get in Gabite. I know she's gonna want to Moon Blast me, so predicting that, I turn it into a normal type and tank it. Because of this though, I am able to land a solid bulldoze, drop it at speed, and then getting a little bit more chip by chomping it with bite. And since its speed is actually now lower than Glaceon, we're able to knock it out with a Shadow Ball. Don't ask me why this battle was so hard and I had to resort to this strategy, but hey, you know, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. So which one of you is stronger, do you think?
Well, I'm one of the Elite Four, so I'm more amazing.
I can't wait to crush this toddler's dreams when she finds out I'm already the strongest champion.
What?
You know, honestly, I don't think Cynthia would ever say that, and I think I may have lost the plot somewhere along this script. It's time to fight against the final gym leader, Grusha, and this battle is criminally easy because with Lucario, we're able to set up so seamlessly with Calm Minds. Her Frostmoth is her lead, and it can only really hit us with Blizzards. You do know that Grusha's a guy, right? What? I then knock it out with Aura Sphere and make Beartic and Titan suffer the same fate. Last up is his Terra Altaria, and yeah, it dies to an Aura Sphere too. What a final gym battle, am I right, guys? Finally though, my Garchomp is back at full power. Yeah, it's time to show these people who a real champion is. But first, let's finish up the other paths. Or take a battle time, and he leads off with an Azumarill who I'm easily able to knock out with Electros. Funnily enough, Electros is also able to shred through Wigglytuff, which wasn't really a part of my plan coming into this. Oh my lord, it took out Daxbun too. Are you seriously getting swept by this thing? Okay, never mind, Oriel got ran over by a car. But with a conjoined effort from Lucario and Glaceon, it actually easily goes down. Wow, that was actually embarrassingly easy. Oh, what a cute little Tetsuki. Oh. No way, guys, look, Rufflet's evolving. Maybe now it'll actually do something. Nah. It's now time to fight against the final Team Star member, Aerie. She leads with Toxicroak, and I eviscerate it with Garchomp. Annihilate comes out and tanks 2 Earthquakes before taking us out with Ice Punch. But I'm able to get in Braviary, who can manage to take it out. Guys, let's be honest for a second. You'll probably never witness a miracle like this again. Or maybe you will, as Braviary is also able to take out her Passimian. Her Lucario does manage to take it out, however, but honestly, this is the most screen time this mon has had in the entire video, so I just needed to show y'all this. I'm able to barely take out the Lucario with Gastrodon, but the big boss monster Starmobile comes out and knocks it out. I send out Lucario to go for Meteor Mash, but she decides to shift gear, and even better, it has stamina. Oh boy, yeah, I lost. But in this next attempt, I've learned my lesson, so I Terra with Lucario to lose my fighting weakness and empower my fighting moves even more. I'm able to chunk it down heavily with Aura Spheres before going down, and Electros is able to stop this car in its tracks. Man, I really hate these things, and I'm glad I don't have to fight anymore for the challenge. Now, it's time to finally fight against the Pokemon League, and our team is honestly already at its peak, so all I need to do is a little training, and it's time. After acing this stupid test, it's time to begin, and our first Elite Four battle is against Rika. She leads with Wishcash, who I eviscerate with a Freeze Dry from Glaceon. Camerupt comes out, so I switch into Gastrodon, which tanks some hits and easily knocks it out. She then goes into Donphan, which barely manages to knock us out with an Earthquake, but since we got it so low with Muddy Waters, it actually easily went down to a Dragon Claw from Garchomp. Dugtrio comes in, and Garchomp destroys it with a Dragon Claw as well. And her last mon is Clodsire. This thing just stalled us out a ton with Protect, but of course, Garchomp wrapped it up for us. The win is painfully celebrated though, because with all of that spamming, we lost quite a bit of PP. I also didn't buy any elixirs. Oopsie. The next battle is against Poppy, who leads with Caparaja. I lead with Lucario, and I decide to Terra Swords Dance, expecting an Earthquake from her, but instead, she actually just went for Stealth Rocks. I do knock it out next turn with Force Palm though, and Corviknight comes out, and honestly, I won't lie, I'm so used to utility Corviknight, I just for some reason didn't expect it to just have Brave Bird and knock me out, but hey, it definitely did. Anyways, let's pretend that didn't just happen, so I send out Electros, which just beats it down with Discharge. Bronzong's next, and I'm able to chunk it down a little bit before we faint. I then send out Glaceon to Shadow Ball, as this will probably be its only use in this battle. Bronzong doesn't go down, but we manage to barely live in Iron Head, so we can knock it out with Shadow Ball the next turn. Magnezone is next up, so I get some chip off before going down, and that way I can get in Gastrodon. It does manage to get up a light screen, but we do still manage to take it down through it. Her last mon is Tinkaton, and after hitting it with Earth Power twice and dropping its Spadef, we're on red from getting hit by a Play Rough and Gigaton Hammer. For some reason though, she decides to Stone Edge and she misses. So because of that, after a while, we do manage to take it down once the light screen wears off. Now, we may not have been able to show the first Larry battle, but I definitely can show this one. This battle starts off with Tropius against Orglacion, so of course we managed to take it out. Raptor comes in and hits us with a solid close combat, but we do manage to live. That way, we take advantage of its defense drops to beat it. Next up is Altaria, which does take us out, but I am able to get in Garchomp, who easily knocks it out with Dragon Claw. Oricorio is up next, but obviously compared to Garchomp, this thing is just a snack. And his last mon is Flamigo, which does tank 2 huge Dragon Claws, and then it manages to die to its own Brave Bird. It's truly a shame that we couldn't show your first battle, Larry, but honestly, I still had some fun. The final Elite Four member is Hassel, and I'm not gonna lie, going into this battle, I'm fairly terrified of his Baxcalibur. He leads off with Noivern, which misses Orglacion with a Super Fang, so we're able to knock it out with Freeze Dry. Next up is Haxorus, which does hit us with an Iron Head, but we manage to tank it and hit it with an Icy Wind. I am then able to knock it out in the next turn with an Ice Shard. Dragalge is next, so I get off an Icy Wind before getting knocked out, but it's fine as I send out Garchomp, who can take it down with Bulldoze. Flapple is next, and it goes down to a Dragon Claw. Baxcalibur is easily my biggest fear here, so I had to rationalize Bulldoze so it's slower than my other mons. I'm able to tank an Icicle Crash and put it into red with Dragon Claw, and now that I look at it, I probably could have just used 2 Dragon Claws instead of the extra steps, but leave me alone because I was terrified. And then Lucario is able to wrap up the battle. And honestly, after going through this entire region, craving a worthy battle, it's time to finally fight La Primera Geeta. Her lead is Espathra, and I lead Glaceon. It goes for Reflect, and I go for Icy Wind with the plan of trying to outspeed it the next turn with Shadow Ball. I definitely didn't outspeed it though, and it hits me with a Lumina Crash, but it's alright as we're able to knock it out. King Gambit comes out, and honestly, it's probably too early for you to do that, but whatever. I go hard into my Lucario on his Stone Edge. I'm able to then get up a Swords Dance, and I think I can knock it out with a Force Palm, but because of Reflect, it actually lives. I can take it down with Garchomp, however, and she sends out Veluza. I switch hard into Electros here, which does tank an Ice Fang into a Liquidation. We're able to connect the Discharge, but it does end up taking us out. So I send out Garchomp, which does manage to, knock it out. This is kind of what it does. Avalugg is next, and obviously we can't do anything to this, so I send out Gastrodon, who with enough recover shenanigans ends up getting it super low and perfectly in range for Garchomp to take it out. Go-Goat is next, so I go into Braviary, which tanks a Play Rough, and it takes it out in 2 Aerial Aces, and her last mon is Lamora. It's finally coming out, and I decide to sacrifice Braviary here in order to get in my Garchomp, and I just wrapped the battle up once and for all. No surprise that Garchomp ended up being our MVP for this fight, as I feel like in a real battle between the two, Garchomp would probably shred her with this team. I gotta say, Geeta, for all of this work to get to you, you're honestly pretty weak, but I think there's someone else that just may give me a better challenge. After completing everyone else's path, I think it's time to finally put an end to the most important one by beating Nemona, the real champion of this region. I gotta say, after all the times I've beaten you and didn't even bother to show your pathetic fights, I didn't expect me to get this excited for our final match. It's almost like you remind me of someone. It's kind of weird. Nemona leads off with Lycanroc, and I lead with my ace Garchomp, which easily takes it out with a Bulldoze. Her next mon is Goodra, who barely lives a Dragon Claw and takes us out with Ice Beam that it for some reason had. I send out Orglacion, which does knock it out with Ice Shard. Palmot comes in, which obviously shreds Glaceon, so I switch hard into Electros on CC, as I was afraid Gastrodon would take too much damage. Electros goes down next turn, so I get in Gastrodon, and lo and behold, as I thought, close combat definitely would have bodied us if I went hard into it. The Dunsparce is next up, and I sacrifice Gastrodon in order to get my Lucario in, who I terrestrialize with and then Swords Dance. Y'all already knew I was gonna do that though, did I have to really say it? I knock it out next turn with close combat, and her next mon is Earthworm, which also goes down to a CC. Nemona's last mon is Florigato, who obviously is faster than us, so I decided to just hit it with a super strong extreme speed, and we just dodge her Play Rough. It's honestly hilarious because she didn't even have to go for this since I was already at -2 defenses. And there it is. We're now the official champion of Paldea, but I'm not satisfied with just this. Everything just felt too easy. There's still one unfinished job I need to do, and that's defeating AI Turo. Turo leads with Iron Moth, who goes down to a Bulldoze from Garchomp. He then gets an Iron Bundle, but I switch hard into Lucario on a freeze dry that crits us, but still manages to do nothing. I then hit it with a close combat on its snowscape that it does live, but I am able to knock it out the next turn with extreme speed. It decides to get in Iron Thorns here, but it really doesn't matter as it gets one shot by a close combat. Iron Jugulis comes out, so I go for another close combat just to get some chip off before going down to a flamethrower. I then take out Jugulis with Icy Wind after dodging a flamethrower because of Snow Cloak and the earlier snowscape that set up hail that Iron Bundle used. Thanks, bud. Iron Hands comes out and Glaceon is pretty much useless at this point, so I get a few hits off before dying to Drain Punches. I get in Gastrodon, which surprisingly enough takes a ton from Drain Punch and can't manage to take it out with Earth Power. It is super low at this point though, so Garchomp can clean it up. Now it's time as his signature Iron Valiant is last up, and this thing is a monster. So I expect a fairy move to hit us, so I decide to Terra Normal. I then go for a Bulldoze, which will make my other Mons faster than it. I take a Spirit Break and I'm able to get one more Bulldoze off before we go down to its Brick Break. Now it's time to end this journey off with Braviary. Ironically enough, probably the worst team member, wrapping it all up thanks to our signature Garchomp, however. Anyways, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and if you want more Pokemon content, I actually heavily recommend this video right here.